Hi, welcome to the second part of the Referee Lounge with Keys to Referee. Myself, Simon Hall, joined by Keith Hackett. We're going to discuss the Premier League at weekend, a number of incidents, why they were given or why not given, and just have a look at the overall performances. And obviously, we might just mention VAR, but I think everything's going to be quite on the positive side from this weekend's football. So the first one I wanted to talk about was Martin Atkinson's performance. He had the Manchester City-Chelsea game. I actually think it's the performance of the season. I think I messaged you straight away. I thought the game itself was outstanding, but Twitter kind of went up and said he had nothing to referee, and that came across. There was one on your timeline on Twitter that said, but it was an easy game. He's only doing the basics of what he's got to do, and that to me said straight away, well, you've never refereed a game.
I think that there's just a lack of awareness of what a referee does, and a lot of what he's doing is off the ball. But you know, when we look at Martin Atkinson, he's a very experienced referee. He's had like 3 seasons now on the bounce where he's been a top performer. He's probably one of the most consistent referees in England at the moment, and that's great credit to him. You know, when we look at the performance, he's doing work off the ball. He's getting into good positions. He's got that slight width to his performance, which is noticeable this weekend, and we might get onto that in terms of the flow path of referees, because they've almost stopped going into the right hand side of the penalty area and staying out wide, and the benefit of that is accurate decision making. His management of players, the respect that he gives the players, the respect that they give him. He's a known referee, and you know, this is a tough encounter that's gone pear-shaped in the past. It didn't go pear-shaped because of, one, his positioning and movement, which was terrific, his accuracy on decision making, his communication skills, and a neutral body position. His body language is neutral. I'm not at war with anybody. I don't want to fight with anybody. I've got a job to do, and I'm concentrating on it. I noticed on one comment from a very experienced former referee was he was concerned about Martin explaining the decisions to players. I think it was doing more than that. I think he was just having a channel of communication, creating a line of communication. And you know, we tend to sometimes forget that referees will, at the high level, as they should be doing at grassroots level, is making use of the captain. And I think sometimes that conversation that we see is referee to captain. So for me, I don't disagree. I think it was the performance of the season. And so if I was sat at my desk and I've got 10 referees to appoint for the coming weekend, then he would be the first one on the sheet.
Yeah, definitely.
And good on him, because I think his decision making was terrific.
It were, because I noticed, because you'd put the fact that the corner, because there was a corner given, it was given as a goal kick, and fans jumped on this, and this, it was like the fingertip of his glove at rocket speed, and I just think to himself, you've never refereed a game.
No.
You have no idea how hard that decision actually is, and the body language of the players told them nothing of where that ball had gone, because you look at for the body language on that. So, but I think for me, that's a great performance. And if you're a grassroots referee, do you know what? I'd watch the game back, because if you actually see a number of times he's talking to players as they come out of the box and stuff, and he goes and gets his position, all he's doing is saying, I've seen that, you know, we don't want any of that, and he's keeping the game flowing. It's man management at its finest the other night. It was really good. The other one I wanted to talk about was, I thought it was another terrific performance, and it was Stuart Atwell. There was two big things in there. One was to allow the quick free kick and to keep the game moving. That I thought that was good. But then
he was alert to that.
Oh, he was.
This was a clear free kick.
Very clear.
He was in a reasonably good position to see it. The player puts the ball down. For me, it's stationary. It's enough, and then he reacts. He sees what's going on. He's got a vision that it's going to be a quick free kick. I'm going to react to it. and you see him then accelerate his sprint to get into a position into the penalty area. Good on him. I think his confidence. It's taken a long time for Stuart Atwell to get over his Watford goal no goal situation, and I take some of the blame for that, because I was his boss at the time, and I decided as a young referee, slightly immature, but we needed young referees into the panel, that I put two very experienced assistant referees.
Yeah.
And they knew what the game was, and unfortunately it happens sometimes, rarely, but we had a very experienced assistant referee, Nigel Bannister, one of our best assistant referees, suddenly deciding I'm going to referee the game.
Yeah.
And a slightly, you're telling me it's a goal, I'm not giving it, but, and then suddenly he gives it. And I think that had a very negative effect on his career. But he's overcome that. And I think he's growing in stature. Just feels sometimes his body language needs to look more confident.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you can do that by not being fussy. And sometimes don't catch the game up, just read the game a bit better.
Yeah. Well, I saw a referee last week, and this referee I thought was level 4. He was outstanding. I've been told since he's actually level 5.
Crikey.
And I watched his movement, and he had urgency in his running. He had the what if mentality. I've got to get there. What if this happens? I've got to get there. And that's what he was doing. And I felt that with Stuart the other day, because he was coming round play. He wasn't going through play, he was coming round. So his angling, I thought, was better. And that led to, I think, is a terrific decision for the penalty. The Ings, that I think that is a terrific decision. That's hard on the side that it was to have as much confidence, but if you look at him, he's running round, so his angle is suddenly, it is completely on to that incident. And I thought, do you know what? Well done, great spot, great decision.
Confirmed by the VAR that it was correct. I mean, it was that adjustment, he adjusted his position. He didn't keep a straight line run. He suddenly went slightly left, and he got the angle. Good on him.
Why isn't it a red card though? Because there was no deliberate attempt to play the ball. So why isn't it a red card?
What he has to do is he has to look at law, and that is the probability of him controlling the ball and having a shot on goal. And for me, the way to do that is to take away the player that's committed the offence.
Yeah.
So what you do is you take him away and you say, if that player hadn't committed that offence, would the forward have gained possession and the probability of scoring a goal? And that is a better judgment. And for me, he got the decision right. It wasn't just denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. The other one, there was another game, Mike Dean, he had the Leicester game at Brighton, and then there was a lot about the retake. So there's a penalty, it's a penalty, there's no question about that. He had a terrific game. I think he's our most consistent referee at the moment, Mike Dean. And he gives the penalties saved. In comes the rebound, Maddison knocks it in the back of the net, everyone's celebrating, VAR, Mike Dean, it's a retake.
Well, that's what VAR's there for.
Yeah.
And, I genuinely think on this one, the VAR coming in helps sell the decision.
Yes.
Because if you're the referee, think about it, you've no VAR, and you order a retake, we've been there, we've done it, and we know the pressures that come on. Players surrounding you, you've got it wrong, and all that goes with it. I think VAR on this occasion, obviously, came up with the right call, so it was a good decision, and no additional pressure on Mike. So, he's a good referee.
Why ain't it an indirect free kick for the encroachment?
Because, good point, because equally, you had players from both teams entering the area,
and therefore a retake.
Knowledge of the laws is always vital in these situations.
That's twice now with Mike, because Mike had the West Ham Man City one as well, so it's twice with him this season.
Good referee.
He is. He's absolutely spot on. So next one, Palace Liverpool. Palace take the lead. On there, pushing the back, and now this is splitting debate, this push. Was it, wasn't it? I think there's two hands, which means there's a decision then to make. So by putting your hands up, you've now got a decision to make to not allow that particular goal. Now, I'm fine with the decision either way that they went with, but I did question, would it be a penalty if it was reversed?
I think that the big problem that referees have got is that over recent years, they've allowed grappling, as I call it, pulling, pushing, to go unpunished. And then when you get an offence taking place, simple offence of a push, and it's penalised, everybody's questioning that decision. For me, referee on the day sees it a push, VAR sees it a push, therefore it's a push. So that's the process. We don't have to worry too much about where it's going, what's happening and all that goes with it. What we've got to do is be consistent as a group of referees, and that will help each other. Because at the moment, we've got some referees, I suspect, who wouldn't have penalised that, and some that would.
So to me, because it's Kevin's game, that's the pitch side monitor. That's the one that pitch side monitor comes in.
I saw a photograph this week. Somebody sent me a photograph of a pitch side monitor wrapped up, never going to be used in a million years. We thought, didn't we, after last week's meeting, that we might just get one this weekend, but it's wrapped up. It's not even set up. It's hardly got a plug to it, so therefore it's not going to be used. I agree with you entirely that, okay, we've got a push, we've now got a selling decision to make, and it's better sold if the referee comes to the pitch side monitor, has a look, and takes ownership of the decision.
Which is what Jared says. We mentioned this video. It's on YouTube for anybody who wants to go and see it. Jared and his last game in Australia, and he actually does go to screen. You hear him speak to say, I'm going to give it, because it's what everyone's expecting. And I think on that incident, I think it'd been the same, because that relates now directly to another game, and that's the Watford game. Watford Wolves wants it. So the first goal, up on the shoulders, there was a bit of an arm over. Is there enough there? Isn't there? Goes to VAR, and that one's awarded. And there's more to me on that one than there is on the other one. And again, for me, it's a case of saying to Paul Tierney, look, go and have a look at this on the monitor. It's your call. And then he could have decided whether he was giving it or not, and no one would have argued. And you've just said it, credibility is huge. I've gone to see it, I've seen what everybody else thinks they've seen, but I'm actually happy that he's not holding him down. It's just the way it looks, or whichever way you want to look at it. I'll award the goal. In my opinion, it should have been disallowed, but like I say, that's my opinion, and that's why we love the game.
Well, I think this is where, as a group of referees, I used to bring them in. You used to show those types of incidents and say, right, okay, what's our view? I got mine, but I want to listen to the 20 referees that we had then to have a discussion, to come with an outcome that says we're going to penalise these or we're not. But the aim was to get consistency across the group. And I feel sometimes that from a distance, it doesn't look as though this is taking place. And therefore we get inconsistency, one referee, one VAR to another. But these are incidents that if we're going to penalise holding and pulling in the penalty area, which is an offence, then let's penalise it in every game.
Both ends.
Both ends.
Both ends, no, definitely. On that one, just one, this is the last part now, is Andre Mariner. We had concerns last week because he was about to do 2 VARs in one day. So that's 2 intense 90 minutes. Maybe the VAR itself is a bit easier in the sense that you're not coming in all the time. I don't know. And then he had what was going to be a battle the next day, and it was clearly Sheffield United and Manchester United. And that first 20 minutes was a tough 20 minutes. And we've spoken about Martin Atkinson in those first 20 minutes and the work that he did. Andre Mariner matched him every bit of the way. That was a tough opening 20 minutes of a game this season.
one of the things about refereeing is it's not just about the physical aspect of tiredness that comes, it's also about the mental fatigue. What worried me about 2 games in the same day as VAR and then followed with a big game was, if you like, mental fatigue. He's a laid back guy, first of all.
Yeah.
And I know him really well, and he's got a kind heart, and he thinks deeply about the game. I thought he was superb yesterday.
It was good.
And I think he measured the game. He was alert. So maybe, we reflect and suddenly think maybe those 2 VAR roles actually had him banged up to speed with his concentration, his effort. He's in an enclosed room and he suddenly says, like, I really could do with a run out, and he's got Bramall Lane to run out. He performed really well in what was an outstanding game of football to watch.
It was
I mean,
good.
like, you look at it and you go, crikey me, the atmosphere must have been intense. It came across on television brilliantly.
You're a Chef Wednesday fan. You can't say things like that.
Look, when I go to Bramall Lane, I'm always treated with a great deal of respect by fans, and because I've refereed a lot of them, but at the end of the day, I mean, to watch Sheffield United battling in the way they did, and then Man United come back. I think the big story of the weekend is, and we're not going to touch on it, is I think there's a few managers out there that are at massive risk now of losing the roles. Because at 70 minutes, you could feel the pressure, and Solskjaer must have been thinking, what's happening? There's obviously a bit of a discussion and debate going on in the stand between Manchester United people in sort of an important role. But at the end of the day, we've got a game of football, 3-3. The Premier League must be buzzing today with the outcome.
It is the league that keeps on giving. The VAR decisions were definitely faster this weekend. I don't feel like anybody was hanging around. And I think once they get it up on the boards the way that they're going to do it, I think it's another great step. The handball at the end, or the non-handball at the end for the equalising goal, I thought they were very quick to come out and say there was no conclusive evidence of it touching the arm. And we said it in last week's show, it's the sleeve. Correct. Where the sleeve meets that is now we're into the torso. And that's where the ball, the actual best angle is hitting that area. So therefore, there is no conclusive evidence, and you've got to go with the on-field decision. That was a tough call. It was quick.
But it was a tough call as well, And you could see, couldn't you, from watching the VAR room, the intensity of what they were doing. And
I like that as well. I love seeing that.
And
because
if that's shown on the screen in the stadium, and they saw that, then you could see the value of the debate that's going on, the quality of the VAR person involved, and the more, if you like, there's exposure of how the process is operating, and the fans are made aware of what's happening, then we get a better buy-in.
And you do get excitement. At 3-2 on a goal decision like that, it's got to raise it. And if you say that information in the stand, and you've got the fans, you've got the adrenaline, you've got everything that's going with it, it's
and the interesting
positive.
Bit, and look, I want the use of the pitch side monitor. It's interesting. Had Andre gone to the pitch side monitor in that way, it would have had another dynamic to it. But ultimately, he's been told it's okay, he's looking and it's okay, and he comes back, just sells that decision a little bit better.
And he does, and it's all on that. So that's from us this week. I think it's been a terrific weekend of football. I hope everyone out there has absolutely enjoyed the games that have gone on, and it's great. We're not talking too many controversies or anything. We're actually talking about the quality of the games this weekend, and that's what it's all about. So join us next week. There'll be another show next week, and we'll be discussing things further.